Hello, everyone. How's it going? My name is Thomas Williams of Broad Street Hockey. A massive thing just happened, Steve. Uh,
Unbelievable, Thomas. Unbelievable. This is wild news here. I was just talking, I was planning Flyperbole with Ryan Quigley for the week, and I'm like, should we even record before the draft? I don't know. Is anything going to happen? And then Danny Briere comes out on Flyers trade day on June 23rd and lays a massive trade out there for us. We were worried he wasn't going to do anything, and here we go. Danny Breeze has done something. Thomas, what has he done?
he has officially traded for, and it's official. My phone just fell out of my hands. It's official.
Beautiful. It's
Uh,
official. He is
Zegras,
traded, yeah.
he has
Trevor
traded. Trevor
Zegras is the
Zegras
Philadelphia Flyers, the
is a
biggest thing
Philadelphia
here.
Flyer, and we have the full details of the trade. I don't have a graphic. I wish I had time to make it, but we're doing things on the fly. But it's for officially center Ryan Poehling, the 45th overall pick, which was the third best pick the Flyers had for the draft this Saturday. I guess that's draft day 2. And then a 2026 fourth round pick. And
Oh,
we put it in our headline basically of the newsers. It's for not a whole lot, Steve. It's not for a whole lot of consequence after all.
no. Like, I love Ryan Poehling. Like, I think Ryan Poehling is such a great guy to have on your team. And Thomas has opened up a cold one because he knows what great news this is. But, like, look, it's scorching hot outside. And Danny Briere has made a scorching hot move to bring the Philadelphia Flyers back to relevancy, which was the term being thrown around in the Slack chat this morning. But Trevor Zegras, I know his numbers were not super impressive last year, but he was dealing with some injury issues. And just talent wise, this is such a high level guy to have on your team, such a high ceiling guy to pair up with Matvey Mishkov and Travis Konechny and whoever the heck you're drafting this Friday. I love it. Ryan Poehling's a guy you could use on any hockey team, right? He is a glue guy. He can play wherever the heck you need him, but you really want him in the bottom 6, preferably. And we saw with the Flyers' issues, he was playing above that, level quite often. So whatever. I like Ryan Poehling, but I will trade him for a Trevor Zegras any day of the week.
Yeah, you're losing not a whole lot. Like I think Ryan Poehling just had to be traded basically for the numbers game. Like we're adding a forward, we had to get rid of a forward. It just had to be part of the deal, and he's gonna not to like switch it to what Anaheim's getting, but he's gonna fit fine on the Ducks. Like whatever, fuck him, but still,
He'll fit fine. Ryan Poehling's a guy who would fit fine on
yeah,
any team in the NHL. Like any team could
yeah.
use him, but that's also why he's a guy you can lose because
Mhm.
like any team could use him, but like he's not really a guy he's not a centerpiece, right? He's not a guy if you're a good hockey team, he shouldn't be a top 6 center for you.
Yeah, and it's easy to just see him as like a fourth line guy that you're just getting rid of the contract to.
Yeah.
So overall, Zegras, and you mentioned it, how he's kind of had a dip. Let's go over some numbers quickly just to set the stage of things. So obviously, he started his career going bonkers in Anaheim. His first 2 full seasons, 2021, 2022, 22, 23, 61 points in 75 games, and then 65 points in 81 games, both 23 goals seasons. They're remarkably productive for a then 20 and 21-year-old. You're talking about like putting up numbers that are really solid on a not very good Anaheim Ducks team. Like even that 22-23 team where Zegras put up 65 points, he was the leading scorer on that team. Troy Terry had 61, Cam Fowler had 48. Yeah, you're talking about a young team, and he was part of that young core. And then we get into his last 2 years because of an injury. And I'm sure we'll get more details about maybe like anything nagging or anything like that. But 23, 24, 22 years old, just played 31 games, only 15 points, and then 57 games last year for Anaheim, and then 32 points. So not the most productive player, not the you're getting an absolute guaranteed top 6. Like he's going to be a top 6 forward, I think, no matter what. Like, but you're getting a guaranteed, like, this is the answer to a lot of the Flyers' problems. It's not guaranteed. You're taking a bet, and that's what good GMs do. So I think that the answer for this is just like whether or not he can really take it and get back to what he was at 20 and 21.
Listen, there is a reason that the Flyers are doing their drafting from Atlantic City this weekend. Okay. They're
Oh,
doing it because they're gambling. They're taking risks out there. And I feel like they're sending a message with that. Like it sounds corny, but like I really do feel like it's a mission statement in a way that this is not a front office that wants to do same old with the Flyers. And Trevor Zegras is not, we talked about him as a potential trade target when John Tortorella was the coach. And we kept saying, John Tortorella would hate this guy.
yeah.
This is not a trade. So I'm assuming that when they make this trade, right, they're bringing Rick Tocchet into the mix and they're asking Tock, like, is this a guy that you can envision being part of your core, being a key forward for this team, to play with Matvei Michkov, to play with Travis Konechny? Do you think this is a guy that can be a key cog? And I'm assuming Tock said, yeah, absolutely, because it seems like Briere wants to work with his coach. Like, obviously Briere and Jones are going to have final say, right? But they want to work with this coach. They want to work to get this team back to relevancy, to make this a playoff team again. And this could be huge. Like, the ceiling on this really is like a really high ceiling. I love this move.
Yeah. Sorry, someone in the chat's asking for what the full trade was. So again, Zegras to Philly, that's it. And then to Anaheim, Ryan Poehling, the 45th overall pick for this year's draft. So the third best, because the Flyers also have the 36th and then I think the 40th, if I'm correct. And then they have a pick later, and then a 2026 fourth round pick.
I actually was just running down. I'm doing a draft preview show with Maddie this week that I have to throw a couple things in the trash right there. So that was their third best in the second round. The Flyers had four. They had four second round picks. So 3 first round picks still intact. They didn't trade one of the first rounders, which is huge in my opinion.
Yeah.
The second, the 22nd, and the 31st. So they had 4 second round picks. They had the 36th, the 40th, the 45th, and the 48th. The 45th is gone. That was what was traded. And Ryan Poehling, I think, is like honestly the biggest part of this trade. And that's not really a big thing because we all like Ryan Poehling. Ryan Poehling, I did a PHLY podcast with Bill on Friday, and one of the questions that came up on the mailbag was like, what would each Flyer bring as their food to a party? And I said, Ryan Poehling is bringing the pretzel tray, which in Philadelphia, I know you're in Canada, Thomas. In Philadelphia, often at parties, we'll have a big tray of like soft pretzel nuggets. They're delicious. They come to like almost every party in this area.
Yeah.
And it's such a standard. And it's really like, we said it was the Ryan Poehling of the food, right? Because it's like, it's not the like greatest thing you're going to have at the party, but it's very reliable. It's very solid. It's very filling, right? Ryan Poehling's a reliable guy. He had good speed for what he was. Kelly Hinkle's joining us. Holy crap.
Wow.
Yes. But Ryan Poehling, good speed, reliable player. He's awesome, but like, he's not awesome. Like, he's solid. We're not going to miss him though, because Zegras could do so much more potentially. Kelly Hinkle, how you doing? How you feeling about this trade?
Yo, I'm in my office, so I have to be quiet.
Yes.
I'm quietly losing my mind.
That's awesome.
This fucking rules. I'm sure you guys have already said it, but my initial thing is like, this is such a big balls swing, and you gave up nothing. Like, even if it doesn't work out, the move fucking rules. And I'm extremely excited that it happened.
Like, Zegras, we were just saying, like, Zegras, I know he hasn't put up the best point totals over the last 2 years, but what he did those first 2 years, putting up 61 and 65 points, that's just something that Ryan Poehling was never going to do. No. You know, that's something that, and you put him with some talent like they have at the wing. You have Tyson Forrester, you have Matvei Michkov, you have Travis Konechny, and Bobby Brink. Like, you have some really good talent. Like, you didn't have to give up any of those guys, which is huge, because we were talking about Marco Rossi, right? We were talking about, do we have to give up Owen Tippett? Do we have to give up, Bobby Brink, something like that? You didn't have to give up any of those guys. You still have all the wingers, which is, I think that's a huge win.
Also, like, this is exactly what we need. We need reclamation projects. We need guys that, like, the potential is there. And Zegras was, like, outwardly miserable in Anaheim. Did not want to be there, clearly. Obviously, the injury history is a little bit, that makes you a little bit nervous. But like I said, like, you gave up practically nothing to get him. So like, even if he ends up just being like a good second line winger, it's still a win.
Right, exactly. But we gave up Ryan Poehling, who's a bottom six center.
Yeah, listen, I
And
like Ryan Poehling, but
we all like Ryan Poehling. He's the pretzel tray of, as I was just saying, he's the pretzel tray of Flyers forwards, right?
That's a great way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, but like we all like him, but he's not a guy who's going to get you to the playoffs. He's not a guy who is going to be a key part of, if the Flyers ever, God willing, make a cup run again in our lifetime. He's not the guy who's going to get you there. You got to take a swing like a Trevor Zegras, because you keep talking. We were actually just literally talking about this morning. The Athletic had an article ranking the center depth throughout the league, and the Flyers were 31 out of 32.
Not last, baby.
Right, but just barely not last. And it's the key point for this team. So you got to take swings. They're probably still going to draft a center at 6, but maybe you have a little less pressure to do that. So if like Martone's available, Martone could be more on the board than he might have been previously. I mean, you got to take the best available, in my opinion, but that's a whole other conversation. But Zegras is a guy who really can do a ton. I can't wait for him to just drive everybody nuts doing Michigans with Matvei Michkov left and right.
I think there's major, this might be an article, so maybe future content, but there's a couple major points that I think this trade addresses. Number one, the power play for me. Like Zegras, it's ultimately a move to get better on the power play. I think it's just, I'll have to look into some numbers of just how effective he was, but overall I think just like his style and everything like that is just, it's just, man, I think it's just addressing that. And then also it's just a big question about it is whether or not he's a center, because I don't know if that will stick, and if the Flyers think that too. I think he'll, no matter what, get a chance at center, even despite I think his face-off percentage in career is like 40.1%. So not great, but I think if you just get a decent guy that you just even put down the middle, if you lose a bunch of face-offs, who cares at this point? Just get someone skilled, because I'd rather have him than Ryan Poehling play with Michkov. So you just get someone able to do that and do that consistently and just play there. And I think it just ultimately is like we've said, in a big bet. And I said it earlier in the stream before Kelly you joined, like it's what good GMs do. It's consistently what you see championship teams, the Tampa, the Floridas, the Colorados, the Dallases, even they just bet on these talents, that they take advantage of other teams that don't see it, and they will take these swings, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But like usually the championship teams are just the teams that had their moves be mistakes less often. Like Florida, everything could have been a disaster, but I think this is one of those moves for Philly that it could easily edge them into more of a serious team, and a team that should be like this is the ultimate, like, we're switching the gears move. Like, he's an RFA after next season. He's making a decent amount of money. This could make potentially more moves viable. You get a player of Zegras' caliber, and if he does incredibly well, then you can maybe move on from a Brink, or if he plays with Brink and then raises his value, then suddenly you can move Brink for a real true top 6 center, and then Zegras goes to the wing. Like, it's all these things of, it's just getting talent. And that's what I think people have been saying for the past years, of just like, you just get talent no matter the position. It's just raising the floor. And even if Zegras is a decent wing that scores 60 points, that's a fucking good player. It doesn't fucking matter.
Right. Well, one of the guys I was just talking about the other day with Bill was Patrick Sharp. Patrick Sharp, one of the great, like, should have kept in Flyers history, right? And Patrick Sharp, very similar situation where they didn't really have a role for him on the team, so they traded him away, and he ended up having an amazing career in Chicago and Dallas. And that Chicago took him on as a guy who the Flyers undervalued, did not use properly, and he became a key part of that Cup team. You know, Kelly, I know you know about Patrick Sharp, the should have kept.
Should have kept. But Ken Hitchcock hated goals, so we had to get rid of him.
He did. He only liked defense. But like, you got to go with those talented guys. You got to take a chance on these guys sometimes. This is a great guy to take a chance on. I mean, he was just on the cover of the NHL video game like 2-3 years ago.
He's going to hit a Michigan here. We're all going to die when he does it.
I wrote a blog. I have to mea culpa this. I wrote a blog. I think it was like a year ago now at this point. I wrote a blog was like why I don't want the Flyers to trade Zegras, and it was basically like,
don't you look dumb?
It was naming this thing of like, I think it was when Kiefer Sherwood was playing against the Canucks, and like he just got blown up by Zegras, and I saw that as a highlight. I was like, oh, I don't want that on Philly or whatever. Like, that will just get killed by Sherwood, even though he's like one of the best hitters in the league. But so I wrote this blog, and then immediately I think it was someone from Anaheim Calling, XSB Nation, was like actually watch like a full game of Zegras and not just like a highlight of whatever that you see. And he's actually like, he doesn't deserve the reputation that he has. It's just that no one fucking watches Anaheim at all. Like,
why would they?
No,
That's
exactly.
true.
So he plays a much more like involved game than people think. Like we might do a like video watch along or content.
There's Kyle.
No content, but yeah, let me just add Kyle
More
here.
homies. Let's go.
Hello.
But yeah, like Zegras plays
Let's
much more of
go.
an aggressive and like actually he's not like a pansy out there that like is this
Ooh,
reputation
a
that people
pansy.
have,
There
a
you go.
pansy.
There you go. I think he just got one look at Joel Quenneville and was like, I don't want any part of this. Trade my ass.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, I know that collectively, and me specifically, and Kyle even more specifically, we're not big fans of the Tocchet hire, but I feel like maybe this might be a good fit as far as like fixing Trevor Zegras. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like high on Danny Briere's supply right now, but I don't know. I feel like something might work there.
I mean, I don't think it could possibly. I mean, I guess it could get worse, but I mean, this seems like a better coaching staff than what Greg Cronin was given Anaheim the last couple of years.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like I think under Tocchet, I'm trying to think of past examples. Like I think it was in Arizona was the big credit of Tocchet's game of Tocchet's coaching style is that he was able to take Keller and Nick Schmaltz and all these players under their wing and be like, you could play responsible hockey and also still do cool things. So I think, and I forget if Keller's rookie season was with Tocchet or if he was already there on the Yotes, but that's like, those are two examples in Arizona. And then in Vancouver, like Pettersson isn't the most like tough player or anything like that. And Pettersson took it to a whole new level under Tocchet. Like Selke contender, 100 points, all these things. So like and I'm not saying Trevor Zegras is even close to Elias Pettersson, but there's examples in a track record of Tocchet taking these uber skilled players and bringing them to that next level.
Sam, I got to hop off because I have a meeting, but happy June 23rd.
Yeah. See you, Kelly.
Happy June 23rd, indeed. It is remarkable how often major trades happen on the state. Like, it's just insane. I feel like they're just doing it on purpose at this point.
Was there so I was out running an errand once I heard the news. Has anything else come out about it? I mean, we know the return, so I don't know what else could come out, but
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, that's pretty much just the return at this point. And I love the haters hating in the not a lot of haters,
crazy,
just
dude.
one in particular. It's hilarious to me just because it's like, you gotta, like, if you're not excited about this, you're not optimistic about this, why are you even watching? Because this is exciting. This is a guy who has high-end skill, and that's what this team needs to be back in relevancy, you know?
Sorry.
What do we got?
I can't see your screen, just read it.
Kevin Kurz, our favorite person, told from a Flyers source is that the hope is that Trevor Zegras can play center. But, quote, we will see.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's nothing new, but I would have assumed that. But yeah.
I believe our friend Italian Joe was just saying this over in the BSH Slack just now. But he's saying, like, you know, even if he can't play center, he still could be a top 6 left wing on this team. And for some reason, this team just has right wingers, like, all over the place. Like, it's crazy how much is, like, they just have right wings everywhere. So it could still, you know, even if it works out that he's a left wing and they have to get center elsewhere, like, you got to take swings, though. You got to try guys like this. And you have to bet on talent whenever you can.
Hey, so two things. Chat, I see a lot of different opinions. Go ahead and throw up a 1 to 10 what you rate this trade. 1 to 10, 1 being
And you have
terrible, 1 being terrible, 10 being an absolute 10. Just the best trade you can imagine. But I, as you mentioned earlier, Thomas, I went and looked at Keller's his first full season. He was coached by Tocchet in Arizona. So it was the 2017-18 season. He had 65 points in 82 games, and that was with Tocchet.
Yeah, like that's it's reasonable to expect that he could take another level under Zegras. Like I don't know, like to all the people being negative potentially, and I'm not even saying people in the chat, but like there's no reason to be negative about this trade, even if the Flyers just like got rid of all those assets just for literally nothing. That's like okay. Like you just like throw everything away. Like so you got Paling, free agent. What was the 45th overall pick? Was that the Flames pick?
No, that was Blue Jackets. So it came from Provorov.
It came from a Provorov deal. We already got a bunch from that trade.
Yep.
And then you get a 4th round pick. Oh, sorry. Your coveted 4th round pick to draft a random guy in Sweden.
Yeah.
I'm
God,
sorry.
I don't care about. I was just I was putting together. So I'm going to do a draft preview thing with Maddie Campbell tomorrow, and I was just putting together like a whole sheet with all the information, and I got overwhelmed by just the incredible amount of picks there, where I was just like, there's just too many picks. Like we have to trade some of these picks. And I think Danny Briere hacked my chat at that moment, or hacked my Google Drive, because he's like, you know what? I'm going to take care of this for you, Steve. Two less picks.
I mean, now I wonder if the Tortorella was like trying to prevent the deal. You got a controversy, conspiracy.
Yeah, I'll get the aluminum foil out.
Aluminum foil out.
I need to just keep a permanent hat here, an aluminum foil hat for these occasions. But no, like he wasn't. We talked about this. Like he just did not seem like a Torts guy at all. No. And it seems like Tocchet, the only guy who's really had a problem with is Elias Pettersson, and that's a whole can of worms right there. That is. We could open that up some other time. I don't want to open that up today, but largely Tocchet seems to be a player coach. And what I was saying before is like, I'm sure that they don't make a trade like this without making sure that Rick Tocchet sees that potential and sees him as a fit in this team, because they coveted Tocchet as the coach. Like they said it multiple times. He was the number one choice. So I'm sure that Tocchet wants to work with a guy like this. And I'm just excited for the possibilities, because we've seen what he can do at his best. And look, even if he's 65 is what he gives you, if he gives you the 60 to 70 point range, that's a lot of damn points. You need players like that in your top 6.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's I see some people, you know, who knows, he's not that good, he's cooked, whatever. I mean, that may be the case, but the one thing this Flyers team has needed since, I don't know, like Chuck Fletcher became the GM, was more talented players. And there's no denying that Trevor Zegras is a talented player. It'll just be a matter of what, you know, we could bring out of him. I mean, you have to imagine, I mean, there were clips of him at the end of last year scoring nice goals, and they would cut to him celebrating, and he would be completely stone-faced. Like, I don't think he was happy there. And sure, is putting him on a team where he's going to be happier guaranteed to make him a better player? No, but it makes it more likely. Not to mention he has 2, like, probably of his best friends are on the team, you know, for now, unless they trade one of them in the next, you know, 3 months before the season starts.
I mean, it would be a very Flyers move to do that.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You know, as somebody who lived through the Richards and Carter trades, I can tell you. Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't say it, but I had a sneaky, like, I sort of had a feeling that it might, like, when Friedman put out that article this morning, it was like 2 paragraphs long. And I was like, he only does that if he's trying to get something out before it happens. And I was like, this might happen today. And then I saw the Slack and I was like, oh my God. So
I think the other thing worth noting also is this doesn't prohibit them from making another trade. Like,
no,
it could, especially because they moved Paling out. So you still could move another center in. Like, you still could get Marco Rossi or somebody like that. There still could be a lot of action at the draft. And I think people's theory that they're not going to make both of the later first round picks, like, we're all convinced they're going to make 6, but Are they going to make the later first round picks? That's a big question. And I think those are still very much on the table for making a move. And this is a front office that realizes that this fan base is frustrated. This fan base is pissed off. This fan base wants the damn playoffs. And I think you got to take swings like this if you want to get there. And look, if he doesn't work out, you lost Ryan Paling, a second and a fourth. Who cares, nerds? Right. Who cares?
You have 2 other second round picks before the pick that you traded. So
it's nuts.
Sure, you could fuck it up like, Fletcher did. Like, hey, I'm going to take Ratcliffe instead of.
I mean, Jack Berglund was just drafted last year,
right?
And that was like their like top second round pick, and then now it's just like might be a fourth line center, like
right. And if you had,
please tell me somebody's upset about losing Pierre-Edouard Bellemare too. Electric Boogaloo.
There's probably people upset that we lost. Was it Tanner Lazinski to Seattle, or was it?
There were. There's always somebody upset that I remember. Who was the guy that they lost off waivers to Tampa Bay at one point a few years back? He was like a fourth line center. He was good on the Phantoms. Yeah, I can't remember his name, but people were pissed about that. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about though. Yeah. But he was that unnoteworthy that I can't remember his name. Neither of you can remember his name. Who cares?
Yeah. Right.
I mean, it's just about getting a guy that skill. And I see people in the chat will be like, oh, Zegras won't work. Zegras won't. You can't win with players like Zegras. But I think the Flyers are building out a team that are full of players that complement players like Zegras and Michkov. You have your Luchekos that are super hardworking, skilled, fast-paced, aggressive centers. You have your Artie Konecny's, you have your Grebenkins, you have your Bubs. These aren't small players. You're not small, weak players. Where
Danik Martel.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Oh, that was the guy. Yeah,
that was the guy. Danik Martel, 100%.
Thank you, explicit.
I wrote a whole parody article about that one at that point. I wrote a Flipper blog. Yeah,
I almost said Jason Atkinson because same guy.
Mark Alt.
You're right. These guys are a dime a dozen. They happen all the time. Chris Vandevelde. For God's sake.
Brutal trade for the Flyers. I mean, that's just a hat.
Brutal trade for the Flyers. Okay, nerd. Oh no, they're gonna lose that second round pick that they were gonna screw up anyway. Who cares?
Oh boy. All right. Well, outdoor dad. I think you touched too much grass on that one.
I mean, it's just an easy. If they gave up, say 2020, 22nd overall and Paling, and that was it, it'd be okay, I like players in that range, but I could see where you could see are any of these players going to be 60-point top 6 players? Maybe, but they will be in 4 years. So now you're getting it, and Zegras is an RFA for 2 more years.
No, 1 more year. He's an RFA. He's going to RFA with ARB after this season.
Sorry, I mean he's under team control for 2 more years.
Oh, right,
right. Yeah. And then his UFA, yeah. So he's under team control, and you could have ARB if you really hate him, you can either just let him qualify or whatever, sign up our deal and then go to UFA. But you're not getting him right before UFA. You're getting him and seeing what he could do on this team and be part. And he kind of fits the age perfectly. At 24 years old, it's your Forrester at 22. Tippett's at 25, I believe, or 26 now before the season. You're getting these mid-20 players that I think just fits exactly that timeline with everyone.
I mean, not to just be all, let the chat dictate the whole chat, but Donnie does dishes. 60 points is your ceiling, and you wonder why the Leafs and Flyers will never win. Yeah, if your best player is maxing out at.
The Leafs have 4 studs.
If your best player
the Leafs have 4 studs and can't win. Who cares? It's a different situation.
If your best player is the one with a 60-point ceiling, sure. But no, I don't think anyone in their right mind is looking at Trevor Zegras and saying that's going to be our best player for the next 4 or 5 years.
Fucking Michkov.
Michkov, dude. Right. Also, Travis Konecny is not chopped liver over here. Travis Konecny's really friggin' good. So let's stop pretending that this team has no talent on it already.
I put up
the national media has been killing me with this one, where they're acting like Matvei Michkov doesn't exist and didn't have a stud 20-year-old season. Matvei Michkov rules. Okay, he is the way. He is the future. He is the light Follow our boy Matvei Mishkov for
Yeah, I
God's
mean,
sake.
he scored 63 points in his age 19 season. Like,
He's all right.
Well, I put up a tweet. I put up this Appleyard tweet before, but we're rolling with the conversation too much. But so he says again from Alexander Appleyard, Zegras has never scored below 1.87 points per 60 at 5-on-5. So this is a power play. This is a power play merchant, whatever, in any season of his career. 2.08 points per 60 across 268 games with the Ducks. 63rd in the entire NHL. So we're talking about a player that if you take all your first lines, he's in like the upper 2/3 of first line players. Konechny 2.15 and Mishkov 2.34 are only current Flyers with higher over that span. So he's already performing at the third best on the Flyers, and that's with the Ducks team that fucking sucks and can't produce offense at 5-on-5, where the Flyers have been a decent, but like the Flyers.
That's the other good point. The Ducks suck.
Yeah.
Let's stop acting like the Ducks are good. The Ducks fucking suck.
Let me look up his most common line mate for a sec. You guys
like, oh no, oh this elite team, he wasn't scoring on this. The Ducks suck. They're a bad team. They've been down there in the gallows with their not the gallows, but the gutters with the Flyers, and like they're not a good team. He hasn't been good the past 2 seasons. But look, if you're gonna get a reclamation project, I have paid a lot more for a lot shittier. This guy has a good ceiling. And look, 65 might not be the ceiling, okay? I think he's got a higher ceiling than that. We're going to find out. And if he sucks, you didn't really lose much. I'm not going to lose sleep over Ryan Poehling.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, Thomas, you're looking at it. I would love to know, like, Zegras' best season, who was he mostly playing with? And then, I mean, the other thing about this, I don't know if you guys already talked about it, but, I mean, the other good thing about Zegras is, okay, let's say we have him for 2 years. He's not a center. His other primary position is another position of need for us, which is left wing. We don't have a clear number one left winger that it's their natural position. Like we have Alex Bump and we have Nikita Grabenkin, but both of those guys are just starting to like potentially be in the NHL. And I don't think it's reasonable to expect, they're definitely going to be, first line quality anytime soon.
Right. No, I agree with that. And I think it's worth having a guy. I was also saying, like, you can use those later 2 picks to still try and get another center. You can still try to get Rossi or somebody like that. Like, you're probably going to draft a center at 6. Like, I don't know. Like, I think this is not really like at worst case scenario. You've burnt a 4th round pick's basically like, who cares? A 2nd round pick's like, like, I don't know. I don't really care that much about a 2nd round pick. Poehling's the biggest piece you gave up, and who cares? You can find Poehlings out there in the league all over the place.
So this is his last 3 seasons, and I'll do again his best season, but this includes his 2022-23 season. The most common line mates were Troy Terry and Ryan Strome. So again, he was on the top, he was basically in the top 6 of Ducks, but like Ryan Strome, you're not writing home about, and Troy Terry has been kind of falling off ever since.
Right.
So let's look at quickly his 2 best seasons. So these are his like 60-point seasons that he was lighting it up and going to be the next best thing and getting NHL covers. Troy Terry and Adam Henrique. So Henrique, who's the like 3rd line center of the Oilers, and then
right.
You have like even from defensemen, you have Cam Fowler and Simon Benoit. Like that's. Right. Simon Benoit's this bottom pairing guy on the Leafs now. Cam Fowler, I think, 2nd line pair, like on the Blues. Like, you're not writing home about. Sonny Milano's another common line mate. Ryan Strome pops up again. Yeah, so it's just like the quality of that Ducks roster is not like they didn't have the young talent that he could be playing with in Philly.
That's the thing. Like, people act like the Flyers don't have talent in the top. Like, they do have talent. Mishkov, as we mentioned, Konechny, Tyson Forrester is outstanding. Noah Cates, we don't really like know if he's a center, but Noah Cates is really freaking good. Okay, he might not be a top 6 forward necessarily, but he's a Swiss Army knife guy. You can put Noah Cates in anywhere. He plays fantastic defense. Bobby Brink's really good. He's gonna play with talent here.
Right, and. Reading off those partners, Thomas, like I could see a world where if we got Zegras like 3 years ago, yeah, his wingers probably would have been like Cam Atkinson and, like rookie Tyson Forster, or, at maybe best case scenario, Konechny. But now he's gonna slot into the top 6. Whether he ends up staying there, he's gonna move all around, I assume. But he's gonna have the option to play with Matvei Michkov, Tyson Forster, Owen Tippett, Travis Konechny. Like, he's going to have the players that he is going to be paired with and have the opportunity to play with, I think, are better than what he has had so far with the Ducks. And like, the Ducks do have talented young players, but I don't like, they haven't shown a track record of being consistently effective NHL forwards. Like, they have the upside, but they are not like at the level of a Travis Konechny, where he's every year an extremely productive offensive player.
Yeah, like, I think it's different type of players too. Like, Zegras was playing with Troy Charity, who's not the most defensive stalwart ever, and then like decent two-way guys like Strome and Henrique. Like, we're not talking about the potential that he has on the Flyers to be in an environment that's way just more responsible in all 3 zones. Like, if Noah Cates switches to the wing and he's Zegras's like left winger, and then you have Brink on the other side, like basically making that, and then Forster goes up. Like, we're talking about a really like powerful possible combination of players and talent. And it's like I've said before, like, Philly is building up this kind of cupboard with these players that play responsible hockey and high work rate hockey that just didn't exist in Anaheim. So Zegras perfectly balances that out with just being able to add his skill right into the lineup, and then balance out maybe the Luchenkos who don't have the highest ceiling, but he can work incredibly hard and will be that third line, second line guy that kills a team's offense because he will like stick check you into oblivion kind of guy.
Right.
Zegras balances that out.
Do you remember what, like, the last 2 seasons he was, like, his injuries he was dealing with?
I could look that up. I
look that up. I'm not
shoulder.
sure offhand.
Was that Drysdale?
What's that?
Shoulder?
Yeah, look up what the injuries were. I just wanted to
remember.
talk quickly about the point ceiling here, because if he scores 60 plus points, right? Even if he scores like 50 plus, that's a valuable player of the team. Like, I love how everybody acts like every player on your team needs to be a superstar and needs to score a point per game. That's not the case. Okay. You need all sorts of guys to make your hockey team. And if you look at it, okay, we're looking back at 22-23 right now. You know who the Flyers' top scorer was that year? It was Travis Konechny with 61 points.
Yeah.
Granted, it was only in 60 games, but the next highest was Kevin Hayes, who had 54 in 81. Right. Now, that was a bad team, right? But like, if you've got a bunch of guys scoring a bunch of points, you're doing pretty good. So if he's scoring us above 50, I'm very happy with this, especially for the price. Like, because let's look at Ryan Poehling. Let's look at Ryan Poehling.
Ryan Poehling, like, his ceiling, his best year in the NHL. Like, no shade on Ryan Poehling. Like, I think he was a really good bottom 6 center for us, and yeah, it's great to have that guy. But I think his best season,
this past season,
I think the best
31 points.
Right. Like, I don't think he's ever going to touch 50.
No, he's not. He's just not that kind of player. You didn't give up anything. As far as you gave up nothing. Ryan Poehling is a nice, like, two-way bottom 6 guy. Who cares? You can find those guys. The second round pick. How many second round picks become anything in the NHL, let alone top 6 forwards?
Right.
Especially mid second round picks. We're not talking about like essentially like the 34 or something like that. We're talking about a mid second round pick. Who cares?
Yeah. Okay. So it looks like what do you have his injuries? I see it's a knee.
Yeah, it's a knee. It's a torn meniscus he was gone out with, which is just like, yeah, it might affect his stride and stuff, but like, I think overall you could definitely recover from that.
That's better than a back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Roger McQueen, anybody?
Right. Or Katsuri.
I knew you were talking about Katori.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's better than
McQueen's
a back
also in that conversation right
or
now
like a
because
groin or something. Like
Yeah.
it's a knee.
knees a little troublesome, but like
Right.
I don't know. I feel
He's
like they
24.
can work with that. He's
24.
24,
exactly. Yeah.
and I feel like they've upgraded their medical staff in recent years too.
Yeah.
Not to throw shade, but they had a reputation for
Yeah.
being pretty bad at that for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else that we could really touch on before we dive into deeper content that we're going to be putting out at broadshitalkie.com? I see all the people. Sorry, before I see all the people in the chat. Like and subscribe us because we're going to be keep on doing all this stuff at Broad Street Hockey on the YouTube channel. Read broadstreethockey.com. If you're watching this and not subscribed, I don't know what you're doing because we are going to be going nuts for the draft. We're already putting out the shift by shift coverage of that and watch alongs. I was literally planning on doing a Porter Martone video before this trade went down, so watch out for that one later. Maybe tonight. And then like we'll be keep on going on. So just subscribe to the website, subscribe here, and listen to Flyperbole, everything that Steve has going on, and Kyle's amazing videos right here on the channel is going to be keep on putting out. So
Let's not
Like,
forget our
subscribe.
other great podcasts too. We got the
Yeah.
BSH
BSH
podcast, we got
pod.
the Fly Guys.
Fly Guys are amazing. BSH Pod is great. So yeah. Like,
But just to plug this week, I'm recording a little draft thing with Maddie Campbell tomorrow night. So just a quick draft
Sweet.
preview.
Sweet.
Really, I'm trying to focus in for like the newcomers and maybe the casuals.
Yeah.
Just get like a real basics approach. Like here's who they're looking at. Here's who could be traded. That just changed, right?
Yeah.
And just kind of give like an ABC to what to look forward to. Real nuts and bolts right there. But got that. Got a flight coming out this week, so lots of tent coming.
Yeah, and I'll have some stuff coming up. I was working on a video to put up today, but we'll see. I'll at least have a video out tomorrow, maybe two.
awesome.
Talking about why we should trade up to 4. And
Spicy. I like that.
yeah. But this is exciting.
So guys, let's just sum it up here. Thomas, what are your overall thoughts on this trade?
Easy bet on skill. I think that's all you have to do. Be
Agreed.
good.
Yeah.
Kyle,
I mean,
what do you think?
It's skilled player, fits in terms of positional need, time, age, need a new change of scenery, and the price we paid was more than we paid a very low price in my estimation.
Right. I couldn't agree more. The price is really negligible, and you're taking a bet on somebody who could be really fantastic. And if he sucks, you move on. Like, I don't think it's that big a deal if he ends up like sucking and like you have to move on. Like, it's disappointing, sure, but like you didn't move heaven and earth to get him. You didn't give up like an Oliver Bonk or something like that, like a really promising young prospect. And that's always my biggest thing. I don't like giving up promising young prospects in these kind of deals. You didn't really give up much. It's totally worth the shot if he ends up being a 60-point player for you.
I mean, and he seems, unless he breaks out this year, like he's got ARB next summer. I mean, I guess technically.
Well, that's the other thing. He's not eating up cap space, right? He's not like somebody you're trading for like an old vet that is just eating up a ton of cap space. So you can still sign guys. You can still make moves. Like you can still go into free agency and take a swing at like John Tavares or something like that if you want to.
Right. And I mean, technically because he's a RFA next year, like July 1st, you could start asking, like, not that you could start asking day one, but if you wanted to sign him, you already can. I mean, I would obviously wait for a player you've never had in your system.
Yeah, just sign to like an 8x8.
No, but like
it's a real bridge deal if I've ever seen one.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Is like sure, unless he has like a 80-point season, like. He's probably in line for like a 1 or 2 year extension and just, hey, we're really happy with what you did last year. Let's just see one more year. And, it might walk him to UFA, but I don't see it being a massive problem.
Yeah. I think that sums up the deal perfectly. Keep your eye out for everything else that we're doing at broadsheethockey.com. I just saw that the Flyers auction and charities are already offering a Zegras jersey to auction on. That's
what?
Cool. Yeah.
Holy crap.
So, what number does he wear?
Place your bids here. Oh, let me see. Actually, okay, I'm clicking the link.
Because 9 is Drysdale,
Might-
right?
it
Dry
might
guy.
not-
Nine's Drysdale.
It doesn't have a photo yet. It just
Well,
says
what did he
Trevor
wear with
Zegras,
Anaheim?
19, 17,
I don't know what he 11. He wore 11.
11.
11.
I was
Yeah,
just
he's not
I was
getting
thinking-
that.
Well, if that ain't you ain't getting that.
I was not getting that. So
Yeah, he's not getting that one.
um,
So we'll
maybe
see.
0. Anyways,
I don't think you can do a 0.
I don't know. They don't break his Achilles or whatever it is. So yeah. Anyways, Broad Street Hockey forever. Love you, everyone here. Except the negative
Thanks for
people.
joining us, guys. Yeah, but the haters and the losers are gonna hate and lose. But whatever. I'm very happy today. I think that. Well, you know what? Also, let's just say this is exciting. They're doing stuff. They're trying stuff. I feel like it's been a hot minute since like we've seen them make a move that adds something like this. They've done some great addition by subtraction. See Ivan Provorov, but I think we haven't had like quite an exciting move adding a player with potential to this roster in a hot minute. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. It just feels good.
I think this is probably the first NHL, like current NHL player that Danny has acquired in a trade that is not like
Sean Walker.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
and-
not like
right.
just a throw in, just like here.
Right. This is a player that they're like, this person fits the timeline. We want him to be a part of this. Like everything else is, around the edges. You got fourth liners like Garnet Hathaway and Ryan
Kuzmenko
Poehling.
flipping.
Yeah, and flipping
Pelletier,
assets.
whatever.
Oh, I love that Kuzmenko flip. I love it.
Right.
I do that all day too.
Yeah. So this is the first real like target. We're gonna even like trade out future assets. Like that's the future, like the whole thing.
Mhm.
First real move of that. So yeah. Yeah, I think that's a perfect way to end it. Future's bright in Philly. Love and energy. Broad Street Hockey forever.
Go Flyers.